And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Maybe you should stick to your old man TV, Mike.
That's right. I'll go back watching silent movies.
No, just go back to watching something where people get badly hurt. And there's no hope. That's a genre IMDb created for Mike. Films and TV containing no hope whatsoever.
Good evening and welcome to Is It a Bicycle, Season 8, Episode 10, the original and bestest ever TV and movie podcast. My name is Stephen Wrigley and I'll be your host for this evening. Beside me I have a man who this week asked, what number of beer are you officially not working from home anymore? It's Mike, the McDonough. Live from Vegas with a man who says his birthday sex is just like regular sex, but he's just disappointed that more people didn't come. It's Shaun, I love cans, Leonard. And in the red corner, it's our cuddly killer, a man who just bought all 16 seasons of Hoarders on DVD. It's Mark, superhero, Leonard. This week, we hope to discuss a movie in the shape of Unfinished Business and some TV in the form of Dig and American Crime. We'll also have some news and some previews and coming to a bicycle near you. How are we all doing?
Grand.
I'm not doing too bad, Steve.
Busy weeks, I hope.
Although there's a lot of pressure this week.
Oh, yeah?
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm 4 weeks from the imminent arrival of my first offspring.
Oh, yeah.
But that isn't what I'm talking about. That is a breeze compared with where this pressure is coming from. And Shaun knows what I'm talking about here. My mum and dad are coming to visit at the weekend.
Oh, Jesus.
So I've been cleaning the house for what seems like 14 years. It's a bit like that bit in, and I can't remember the name of the film now, with the gravity well where time is fast and slow.
Interstellar.
Thank you, Shaun. It's like in Interstellar, where only your parents' visit is the source of the gravitational pull. So I think they told me 2 weeks ago, and it seems like 14 years. And I don't know if anything else can be tidied, but it's strange. We keep finding things. Obviously, I love to see my mum and dad. It's just the tidying that ensues before they come along. No, don't get me wrong, right? Our house is fucking tidy all the time. Like,
but
no,
there's
it's
a standard,
none of my
Mark.
doing.
There's a standard, though. There's
none of my doing.
Standard. Yeah.
But it's funny because, like many Irish parents, mum and dad will come in and spot the one thing you didn't do and ask about it. And it varies. Like, the last time they come up, it was, have you not sold that car yet? I was going, I don't know how to, if I'd known you were going to say something, I'd have parked it somewhere fucking else. And it'll be interesting to see what they come up with this time. Because I think this time, like most times, we're foolproof. There's nothing they can say. But I'm sure they'll astound me
There'll be something.
with their details.
When's the last time you got a haircut, Mark? Yeah. Did you not shave? Did you not shave?
I've got that covered.
Yeah, do you?
Covered there.
Very good. So, with all your tidying, did you get much chance to watch anything else that
wasn't on the list?
Yeah.
I watched Secrets and Lies.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Hashtag Secrets and Lies. It's Ryan Felipe in his triumphant return to TV. You know what? Ryan Felipe is not a bad actor. And there's a whole bunch of people in that show that are not bad actors and actresses. But there's a major league problem in this show. Right, okay, first of all, this is not a show for me. I've been looking for stuff that my wife can watch because in 2 weeks she goes on maternity leave. So she's going to need a bit more TV.
What's it about?
It's about a young child is killed, essentially. And Ryan Felipe, or the name of his character in the show, finds the kid when he's out for a run. And in this first episode, in the pilot, all we see is everything that surrounds that. So he becomes the prime suspect, basically. And it's starting to affect his life. And like, there's the cop, I'm going to find the cop's name at some point while we're talking here, but she is a major problem. I've seen her in other things. Oh, Juliette Lewis is the culprit.
No way.
For playing the cop. Yeah. Not a bad actress, I would have said. My God, is it this terrible?
I haven't seen her for a long time.
Maybe she's just a little rusty.
Maybe that's what it is. And like, you know yourself, the first episode of any show, people are figuring out the characters and how it's all going to work. And it just seems really hammy, like really over the top and hammy. But,
so that's,
I don't know.
That's off the list then, is it?
Well, no, it's perfectly fine. It's like everything else about it is perfectly serviceable. It's a kind of, I likened it to Desperate Housewives after about 20 minutes, which my wife didn't appreciate, but I think it's a valid comparison. You know the way Desperate Housewives kicks off with a suicide?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the event that everything turns on for a while. Well, in this, the pivotal event is the murder. But it's the same kind of thing. Like very quickly you start to realize, those two are having an affair for sure. They exchanged one of those looks, the affair look.
Right. Yeah.
So people listening at home, if you're having an affair, don't use that look. People know. So if you're interested in a kind of Desperate Housewives type show, which I'm not, then this is a good one, I think. But if you like other types of TV, then I would steer clear. It's certainly not my cup of tea.
Did herself see The Slap?
No.
Might be one.
There was too much scope for Baby's Them's just jokes.
Yeah.
I actually followed up and watched the next episode of The Slap, Steve.
Did you? Was it the one you wanted to see?
It was the one I wanted to see following Zachary Quinto's character.
Yeah.
And the second episode is this guy who is full of rage and who kind of views life as a battle anyway. It's about his mates trying to talk him down from the ledge and just go and listen. Just fucking say you're sorry and then maybe everything will be fine. And he's like, I don't want to do that though. So because of Zachary Quinto being a motherfucking acting powerhouse, in my opinion, like he's better than the material, I think, which he is often, but he's better than the material here. It was a much better episode because it points the camera at someone who could do fucking anything at any moment. Yeah. And he's justified in a lot of ways in his head, and now we're in his head, Go on.
I know, I'm just wondering, does the second episode, does it progress the story, or does it rehash the story that we've seen so far?
Great question. It's the next day. It's like a few days later.
Great.
It doesn't go back over the events, except people have talked about the events. Like, it doesn't flash back at all.
You see, I was led to believe that it was the same episode again, but just from a different perspective.
And what's interesting is that it's far more combative than what we saw before, which was kind of a dilly-dallying, is this going to be an affair type thing.
Yeah.
This was more like people looking at their legal options and figuring out, like, what are we going to do and what would need to happen for us to have a stronger case.
Oh, right.
It's like, it actually becomes far more a character who I really just thought was an idiotic twat becomes far more Cersei Lannister than I thought could be the case, It did excite me a lot more than the other one, but now what? Do I wait a whole season before I see an episode with the character I like again?
Yeah.
Do you know? So I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to watch the next episode, which is episode 3, which is called A Nook, starring Uma Thurman's character.
And I presume that will be furthering the story.
I presume that'll be furthering the infidelity potentiality, which sounds like a Big Bang Theory episode.
Mike, I believe you saw something interesting this week.
I did. I went back in time to the 1920s with Metropolis.
Oh, right.
They had a restored copy that was found in a museum in 2008 in Argentina.
All right.
And they restored the movie almost to its original glory.
That was before you used to go and see the talkies, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. It was before the talkies.
Around your 35th birthday or so.
Yeah. I was, what's the word? Remembering fondly that time when I didn't have to listen to anything in the cinema except for exciting piano music. It was really so far ahead of its time. For a start, it was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Really?
When back in those days, most kind of feature films were an hour and 20 maybe, or an hour and 30.
Were they even that long? Were they? Yeah, I didn't know it.
They were less. I think a lot of them were less.
All right.
I remember a lot of the old Sherlock Holmes movies were an hour and 10.
All right.
So it was quite an achievement just to get that much film up.
Like an episode of Elementary.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. But enjoyable. Both as something to watch and also from the historical point of view in terms of movies and references and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you ever see it on Channel 4 late at night.
All right, it's worth a look. So,
yeah,
so how was this vision of the future, and when was it? How far in the future was it set?
It looks like his impression of New York at the time. towering buildings or whatever. And he's obviously got a whole underclass that are supporting the towering vision in the high city.
Yeah.
And the movie turns around the relations between the thinkers who have money and luxury and the working class who do all the work. So the crux of the movie is that relationship, and there is a kind of a messiah figurine.
Oh, really?
Sorry, go ahead, Shaun.
I was just wondering if this is a documentary or if this is a fictitious view of the future.
Oh no, it was totally fictitious. They have robots.
All right.
Yeah.
There it is. That's how you get butts in seats.
Yeah.
Worth a look.
Yeah, definitely worth a look. If you have any tolerance for reading movies. So I don't know if Mark would really count there, but what can you do?
It's not so much reading though, those really, is there? Is it?
Well, not really.
You'd have
no.
like 10 minutes of dialogue and then dialogue as in people moving their mouths, and then we'll put up one cue card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny once you get into it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the dialogue doesn't matter because you're putting words into the people's mouths.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like reading a comic nearly.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
cool.
What else? Mark, you got to Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of it. Really like that show.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Really, really good.
I'm really into it now. I'm set.
I'm kind of, do you know what I was trying to do? I was trying to remember, how did I feel when I was watching Breaking Bad? Was it like this? And I'm not kind of sure because in Breaking Bad, a lot of the time, I used to feel like you kind of wanted things to hurry on and the thing that was going to happen in that episode to happen. And I feel a bit like that with Better Call Saul, but it's almost like a series level, like hurry up and make your name Saul Goodman. And like, I want the thing to happen where he realizes that's the right idea. Stop trying to be a lawyer and start being a lawyer who makes criminals better at being criminals, which is what he is when we see him in Breaking Bad. So like, and all the seeds are there and they're looking, you would be so good at that. But at the same time, the story they are telling is really interesting. Like, so I'm not wishing it away. I want that to happen though.
Yeah.
So I can see how it did, which is like a sign of a story that's really, really deep hooks in me.
Yeah, I think he's a much better character, actually. I find it more light-hearted entertainment than Breaking Bad as well. I think he's a better character than the main.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. No, I don't think he's a better character. I think they're both rich characters.
But I just find him, I don't know, I like him more than I liked Walter White. Walter White, I never really gelled with him. Because he was always
you watched one episode?
No. I'm nearly done with season 3.
Oh, you went back to it?
Yeah.
So, how is it, Steve?
I'm not really enjoying it because there's too much bickering in it at the moment. I don't really like either of the main characters.
Stop watching it.
But this is the thing.
It's wasted on you.
Maybe it is. But you see, this is the juxtaposition with Better Call Saul. That the reasons why I don't like Breaking Bad and the reason I do like Better Call Saul, I just think it's a better show.
What do you? I mean, Steve, would it be fair to say that maybe you're suffering from the gross overhyping of Breaking Bad that went on for the last 9 years?
Mike, how many episodes did you watch again?
No, I gave it a fair go, so.
Not like Mike.
Though I do hear that this period of the story I'm in isn't the best part of it, and it gets a lot better. So
it's all good.
So I think I'll soldier on.
Man.
It's all good. I'll soldier on and see if I can finish it. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, we agree. Better Call Saul is awesome.
It is a great show, yeah.
What else was on this week? Battle Creek. I got to see the first episode of that, the pilot. This is created by Vince Gilligan of Breaking Bad fame. And this is sort of a script that he had left aside for a few years, and now he's gone back to it. And it's actually not a bad show, despite a lot of tropes that we've seen before. It's set in Battle Creek, which is a sort of a small town, really, really underfunded police force. Kind of oddballs crew, right?
Okay, so it's not a starship that's been lost far from Earth or anything.
No, it's not no fight chips in this.
Ah, Jesus.
So anyway, there's an FBI agent that is sent to, it's his new remote office, let's say, and he gets involved with in the first episode. He happens to pick up the phone that rings, so it's his case, and anyway, it goes from there. He's twinned up with the guy who's like leading the old team, and of course they don't gel.
I was going to say, does he have a lot of personal issues and demons he maybe hasn't dealt with in the past?
He's got demons and he's tormented. And no, but he's really slick, and it's quite funny actually in places. And you know what's a lot better than?
What?
CSI Cyber.
Oh, really? Yes, the internet is alight with
I know.
responses to CSI Cyber.
Look, before I say anything about CSI Cyber, I was never a fan of CSI, any of them. Yeah. I just never really enjoyed it, and there was a lot of cliches in it, and you know me and cliches.
But you do wear a lot of sunglasses.
Yeah, not in the same way. Yeah. So, CSI Cyber, I think Patricia Arquette is kind of wasted in this, all right. She's an Academy Award winner. Mm-hmm. And this, it seems a little clunky for a lady of her talents, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say maybe she didn't see the award coming.
Right.
Yeah. If you like CSI, you'll love this. You know, it's just they're looking into electronic, crime and those hiding in the depths of the internet and so on. Yeah. So this one deals with an online auction of a baby. Okay. And how to do that is they hack the what do you call it? The baby monitor.
All right. Is it a Unix system or?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know this. This is a Unix system. So anyway, it's not for me, but I'd say if you like CSI, it's right up your street. Shaun, anything this week you want to mention?
Only that the Togetherness series finale just happened. Show we reviewed. Cracking show. Honest to God, really, really. It managed to do something that on the outside looks really generic. And like we've seen it all before. Oh, that's a marriage that's having trouble. That's a guy who wants to be an actor. That girl doesn't really know whether she should go with the guy who's a friend, who's a nice guy, or the rich guy who can take care of her. But once you get past that, every line and every moment in it is super more individual. And you actually understand and want all of the characters to do what's best for them, which is sometimes not, for example, don't hang out with your wife. Maybe you guys aren't actually good for each other in a certain moment or time period, or maybe you just aren't good for each other. And when they're not together, it seems like they're a lot better off. And it explored that in the previous few episodes. And then the season finale has a few pretty sharp events come to a head in an amazing series of dialogueless scenes set to James Blake's James Blake song. It was really, really quiet with a 4-minute long song. They just let the whole thing play out and let you, the viewer, go, oh, holy shit. Oh, really? Oh no. This was always going to happen, but oh no. It was really well done. Really well done.
Cool.
Oh, I forgot to say, I also saw I Live with Models.
What's that, Mike?
It's, it was funny. It was just the week after we had this big discussion about canned laughter, bullshit sitcoms with low-hanging fruit and poor humor.
Yeah.
And, this is about a kind of not very attractive man who has amazingly attractive hands. So he gets a job as a hand model. And as part of the gig, he lives in a flat with 3 other models, 2 of them female, 1 male, and it's quite amazing in the writing how stupid they make all of them look. Like it starts off, you say, okay, this is the dumb guy. So there's obviously going to be a sassy person, but no, the next person is dumber than the first person. So it's quite enjoyable because they look for superficial and immature ways to get cheap gags, and they consistently go for it. I like that, honesty in its approach. Now it's definitely no challenge for the brain.
No, really, yeah.
But if there's nothing else on telly, I might have this as a little backup plan for Tuesday nights.
Just for a little perspective, I just quickly did an old IMDb on that show. It's got a 2.6 out of 10. Just gonna throw that out there.
That's a bit right. You don't watch anything over 4.
That's it, yeah. They're getting to the right end of the scale.
Yeah. The low-hanging fruit. And
Yeah.
Okay.
It's total shite, but I just can't help myself.
Okay. So next I will move on to the news. So speaking of models, Shaun.
Speaking of hand models, Derek Zoolander and Hansel, he's so hot right now, appeared in the midst of a Parisian Valentino fashion show to talk about Zoolander 2, which geared up for production last month. So there's some amazing photos of them. Owen Wilson appears to be wearing couture pajamas and a trench coat that his arms inexplicably are not in the sleeves of. And Derek Zoolander, I believe he's got a selfie stick and he's showing off his Le Tigre. That's a softer, more catalog look. There's a bunch of really great photos up there that are pretty impressive, and I'm very excited because I'll be honest. A lot of actors would be worried about standing next to people who are really, really, really ridiculously good looking. But these guys managed to put on some stuff that looks like it might have been curtains from my old room, and be able to stand next to them and look not only proud, but also quite attractive.
It's great.
So I'm very excited about.
Yeah, there's a very good Vine. Actually, I'll stick it on our Facebook page. There's a great Vine of Derek Zoolander walking down the catwalk. And it just has that blue steel going on, you know. Was
this the one where he steals the guy's phone?
No, I didn't.
There's an amazing, a guy tries to get a selfie video where he's like waiting for Zoolander to come, Ben Stiller. Yeah. He's waiting for Ben Stiller to walk up behind him, and Ben Stiller grabs his camera and keeps walking. It might have been planned, but I don't give a shit. It's hilarious. I can't wait for Zoolander. It's slated for release, in very early 2016. I'm excited about it. And also, speaking of Better Call Saul, during the Better Call Saul Insider podcast for season 1, episode 6, which was called 5-0 and almost exclusively starred Jonathan Banks' character Mike Ehrmantraut, there was a little bit of a discussion about how many of the sites of Breaking Bad have become, tourist destinations so people can see things. And we shouldn't laugh, right? And only people who have seen a particular thing in Breaking Bad might get this. But people keep going to the house that was the exteriors for the White family and throwing a gigantic pizza on the roof. Because that is a scene where Bryan Cranston's character tries to make up for some shit he was doing by bringing a overlarge, like it is stupidly large pizza that will not fit inside a door. And he brings it and he's rejected. And in one move, Bryan Cranston managed to throw it perfectly so it lands face up on the roof. And people keep doing that. And this is a house where actual people live. So Vince Gilligan kicked off about it and how it's it's not funny. And if you think you're cool and original, you're not. This keeps happening. It's been done. You're not the first. Stop doing it. And then the sour-faced Jonathan Banks, who plays tough guy Mike Ehrmantraut, added, "If I catch you doing it, I will hunt you down." I thought was pretty funny. And in the last piece of news that I have up here, an Indiegogo campaign was just launched by Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion for a web series called Con Man, which the tagline for which is "Because it's catchier than Convention Man." It is about two actors, one more famous than the other, who were on a cancelled TV series where one of them played a space captain and the other played the pilot of a ship. And it's about how one of them now goes to all of these conventions and hangs out, and the other one, played by Nathan Fillion, might as well be Nathan Fillion, has gone on to large success. So they posted their campaign a day ago. They're looking for $500,000 to make the first 3 episodes, and if they get more money, they'll make more. And they kept making the joke that why not use a studio? And then they were like, well, we made this TV show once that it got canceled, and we didn't really like that. So they wanted $500,000, and they had 31 days to get it. They got it in a day. So they're definitely going to make it, and they're definitely going to get enough money to maybe even make the full 11 episodes that they have written. They have 120 minutes written, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of guest stars that we'll remember from various science fiction shows and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Anyone hear about Jeremy Clarkson this week?
I did.
Yeah. So this is Top Gear, the most watched TV program in the world. Yeah, it's our factual TV program in the world. So they make millions on this. He sold the rights, or his remaining rights, I think, of Top Gear to the BBC in 2012. And he made a nice dividend as well. And I think his total came to around $21 million in 2012. So he's making a nice bit of money from it. But he joined Top Gear in 1988, I believe. So,
wow.
Yeah, so he's doing it a while, right? So anyway, he was suspended this week. And Top Gear is not being shown this Sunday. The rest of the series has sort of been suspended.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he had a bit of a fracas with one of the producers allegedly punching him in the face. But allegedly, I say, because we only see what we see on the internet, as they'd say. But, yeah, so, the way he's had two incidences recently where he's sort of been pulled up before the guys in BBC, the heads, and they said, this is your last chance. So this was kind of their last chance.
This is your very, very last chance.
But this is the crazy thing is, the way you see some of these petitions go out, bring back blah, 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 and so on. It's already reached 500,000 signatures to bring back Jeremy Clarkson. It is nuts. There's a lot of people tweeting just going, if you want a petition to get behind, here's one worthwhile, insert, worthwhile petition, But, yeah, so they're wondering what's going to happen now. Will the two guys continue along, or will they get someone else to fill his place? Or will then, the other lads leave as well, and then Sky start something like Speed Power with the three of them again. Top Gear runs for one last season, is cancelled. Sky makes 200 million the following year just from Speed Power. And then the head of the BBC is fired the following year because they're now in debt for 300 million. You can just see how it would play out. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see, if he's reinstated very soon, but he's been tweeting and taking the piss out of it already, so.
They're never going to get rid of him.
Well, that's what they're saying. They can't fire him.
He could shoot a disabled child live on screen.
Jesus, Mike.
They would let him off with it.
But the thing is, you see, they have a lot of contractual obligations because it's
syndicated,
thank you, throughout so many different countries and channels. They've resold it already in the States, and there's Top Gear US, Top Gear Australia, Top Gear Korea, there's Top Gear, all over the place. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because he kind of is Top Gear, pretty much, because he was the guy leading the reboot in 92. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting news. Most interesting news in the world. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Let's start with the first of our TV, which is Dig, which is brought to us by the men behind Homeland and Heroes. That's Gideon Raff and Tim Kring, both of which Shaun has interviewed about Dig last summer at Comic-Con, and you can see those interviews on our YouTube channel. Anyway, this is Jason Isaac, stars as an FBI agent sent to Jerusalem to investigate the death of an American. Jason's naturally a tormented man. He has
got some personal problems.
He does. He's lost a daughter recently enough, and tends to ring his estranged wife late at night while locked, just to hear her voice, and hangs up again. But anyway, that's this is a tale of many tales. That's sort of it in a nutshell, right? That's what we get. At the start, we were given some words on the screen, some passage from was it from? Is it Hebrew?
We get two things. One is a passage from the Bible talking about meeting an oxen who has never, or a calf who's never known a yoke, whose hair is completely red. Something to do with some religious event.
Yeah.
Followed by an REM quote for it's the end of the world as we know it.
Yes, exactly. So we see sort of there's Jason Isaac, he's working away, and then it shoots back a couple of years to where this is happening in Norway, where a red heifer is born, and there's a Jewish sect that go to look at it and they go, yes, it's the one. There's not one imperfect hair on it, and blah blah. So this is the prophecy is coming true. So, and then it shoots over and there's another, David Constable. He's got,
David Constable, yeah.
He's got, I I don't know, a building in New Mexico, and they seem to be raising this child to become the key in this whole prophecy. So yeah, it's interesting, and we don't know how they interact yet, but yeah, pretty much. What do we think?
I really liked it.
Did you?
Yep. Because you can just see they're setting up so many esoteric bullshit, legendary kind of things that they're going to have story arcs going on throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
And I love all that stuff. And I loved all the cityscapes of Jerusalem and all that kind of thing. The touristy aspect of it was cool, so.
They did have to move shooting from Jerusalem.
Oh, did they?
To Croatia due to a slight bit of unrest.
What could possibly go wrong when filming in Jerusalem?
This, sorry not to cut you short, but this also has Alison Sudol in it, and it has Richard E. Grant pops up.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that took me by surprise.
Yeah, he was quite cool, actually.
He's always cool.
Isn't he?
Yeah. Even when he's reviewing hotels, he's cool.
Yeah. So you mentioned that it's quite busy and there's lots of story arcs. Do you not think they might be doing too much too fast? Because just thinking back to the series that we stuck with, they tend to be slower build rather than look at all this stuff.
Yeah, but, well, I suppose it might be a bit of a weakness. They don't have a huge inciting incident.
Yeah.
The big hook, like the killing or whatever.
You're right. Yeah.
So they've got to do the shotgun effect if they don't use the big hook.
Yeah.
And I like lots of little hooks.
Yeah. Did you think they went nicely Bourne-esque on this as well?
A little bit, yeah.
A bit of a rooftop chase.
Yeah.
There's another trope that's in it, is the guys that don't like each other are forced to work together, or
Isn't it amazing when that happens?
Yeah.
Just get two guys, came from opposite side of the tracks,
Yeah.
different life experiences. I wonder if they can put their differences aside and be an effective team.
It's a good thing his boss isn't grumpy.
Yeah.
Did you see this, guys?
Yeah, I did. I'm afraid I wasn't as enthusiastic about it as Michael. It's weird, right? Because this is sort of my thing and has a lot of the stuff that I usually like. And I've been soul searching since I watched Dig to try and figure out why I fell asleep and woke up not remembering what happened and had to go back and watch the second half again. And, part of me says it's because it was really, really late. But another part of me says if it was good enough TV, you wouldn't have fallen asleep. There's a couple of things that worry me about it. There's slightly incestual overtones in it, for starters, which were a bit weird and obvious. I'm struggling without spoiling this. So I'm not going to say too much more. But when you watch it, you go, that's what Mark meant. So I thought that was a bit weird. I didn't think they did a great job handling that. The action was decent. I kind of enjoyed all those parts to it. I like when people chase or are chased, and there was plenty of that going on. So it's a good show. I should really like it. I just didn't find it that engaging. I think much like Mike's Sex Slaves, I don't like lots of little hooks.
Oh God. Wow. For me, I kind of think I'm near where Mark's at, but I might know why at least I didn't like it. I think that it did.
It. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't even know if there's a strong word either direction for me about the show yet, at least. Because I think there were a lot of little hooks. I didn't find them difficult to hold them all in my head, because it seems like, yes, they will come together, and we're kind of aware of the ways in which that'll happen, given the multiple MacGuffins that were introduced. But there was maybe 3 or 4 scenes where there was this very clearly, you don't know about this stuff yet. Aren't you intrigued? We're going to show this to you. And I was like, no, I know you're going to show it to me. So I'm not intrigued. Just really tell me.
Gets my goat, that really
does it get your heifer,
yeah? It does, yeah.
Because I was just like, well, either this is interesting, if you can just go, do you know what this is? No? Ooh. If that works for you, then okay, great. But for me, I'm more like, do you know what this is? No. And that makes me a little bit angry at myself. What is it? Tell me. And then, so what you need to fall back on is character stuff. And because our main character is a tough guy who doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, we're not actually getting that much emoting from our main character. Also, almost every character is a tough guy, so we're not really getting any emoting from our characters. David Costabile is a great actor, and you can tell that he's going to be able to rip this shit apart as his evangelical preacher with a sinister side to him. I want to see that. But they're gonna drip feed me that Heron. They're gonna be like, do you like that? Do you want some more? Come back next time. First taste free. The next taste, watch 40 minutes until you even see his character. And I'm like, I don't want you to tickle my balls like that, man. Can you just make it half as many episodes? Give me the good shit. Let's figure out what we're doing here, okay? Tie a band around my arm. Me and you can have a great weekend. What? That's what I want. That's why Netflix is going to win the war of cable television, you know? So that's my problem with it. It's that there's shit going on that I kind of know about and I can make stuff up, but it's not intriguing enough that I'm like, ooh, holy shit, what the... Here's an example. In Lost, bunch of people crash land on an island. Already that's super fucking interesting. And then trees start being knocked down and you hear a noise and you don't know what the noise is. That's intriguing. In this is a thing we found.
Yeah.
That's probably important to the multiple religious groups involved. Yes, it is. We don't know why. And then they tell you a little bit about why. And you're like, yeah, that's cool. Tell me more stuff, please.
What do you think of the boss? I have a feeling that there's going to be I don't think she's all that she seems.
Really?
Yeah. She's not playing to the rules already. You know?
Could be a bit on the edge.
I think she's beyond the edge. I think she's crossed the line and hasn't told us yet. Yeah. No, I think I'm going to watch more of this because this stuff that they haven't told us is annoying me and I need to know. So maybe their plan has worked.
Yeah. Just reeling you in.
I know, yeah. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad show. It's production's good and stuff. You know, like I said earlier, I've seen worse this week, so yeah. It's nowhere near up there with Better Call Saul. That's
no, Ted.
A much better program. I know you didn't like Better Call Saul, but it is a much better program.
This show is efficient. This show is good. I don't think it's got any holes as of yet in any area. But I just don't know if that's enough.
It's just annoying. Yeah, makes my teeth itch or something. You know, it's just.
It's sticked in your ball bag. It's got you by the ghoulies, and it's giving it a quick one too.
Yeah. So because I'm going to watch Boring, I'm going to give it Thriller, I think.
Well, unlike Shaun, I do like having my ball sack tickled, so I'm going to give this a Thriller, and I'll definitely be watching more.
No, I'm going to wash my hands both of this show and literally. This is better for me.
Mark.
I hope that's not because you were tickling Mike's balls.
That would be some achievement from Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's filler for me as well.
Filler for me as well. Yeah. Okay. Next we'll do the first of our movies, our only movie, which is Unfinished Business. Mike, tell us about Unfinished Business.
Can I get all passive aggressive about lack of support from my podcasting team?
Wait, did you fly solo this week?
Yeah, I flew solo this week, Steve. So I went along to see Unfinished Business. And it's starring Vince Vaughn, Sienna Miller, and a number of other attractive people that you will recognize.
Was there many in the cinema?
There were 2 other people in the cinema.
Oh, okay. Yes. So 3 times
actually,
more than
actually,
usual.
they were both female, and they didn't call security. I don't know what was wrong with them. The story basically is about a business deal. You have 3 business partners, a very small firm, trying to land a huge contract with a very large firm.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a spanner in the works when a competitor comes in to kibosh the deal at the very last second. So they've got to go traipsing around the world to try and meet people to get this deal to work.
Okay.
Because they apparently live in a world where it's not possible to communicate with people at a distance. You have to talk to them in person to get anything done.
They've no cell phones and Skype doesn't exist.
That's right. Yeah. They also have different family matters that have to be attended to. So, yeah.
Is it good?
No.
Not at all.
It's really, really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it bombed, all right.
Yeah. Do you remember I was giving out about Focus last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually hearkening back to Focus kind of fondly.
Sort of going,
thinking,
that wasn't actually that bad.
That was such a good time I had watching Focus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's dreadful. And what was even worse was they didn't have any nachos and cheese that evening at the cinema. So like normally when I go to a shitty movie, I at least have the consolation of having some nice nachos and cheese to get me through it. I had to make do with fucking popcorn, like, you know, that's rabbit
disaster.
food. Yeah, big time.
I like that your review of the movie is not as long as your review of the confectionery. Can I ask, have you seen The Internship, Mike? The last Vince Vaughn comedy, I think, that came out.
I saw part of it and turned it off.
Oh,
okay, because I'm just trying to get a feel for where this falls in the spectrum. Because, like, for example, The Interview, terrible film.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out if this is there or if it's The Internship, which is a predictable, kind of lighthearted, but perfectly all right, good film. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out the spectrum.
Yeah. It's almost a comedy by the numbers. You know, they have your three very different characters. They all have their different issues. They all have family problems, and you're kind of thinking, oh, I wonder if they're going to learn something from this experience and maybe apply it to the rest of their lives and live happily ever after, you know. And there are various scenes of a sexual nature when they go to places in Europe that are much less prudish than the United States. It's one of the lines in the movie. You prudish Americans. So they take the opportunity to show naked people for a while. And I don't know if it's meant to be funny or shocking or what. It just kind of falls flat in his face.
really?
Yeah, because normally, you know, I quite like naked people, you know, generally.
Generally.
So I just don't know what was the purpose of this movie, because it's not really funny to be a comedy. It's certainly not dramatic to be a drama.
What was it? Was it at least well performed? Because Tom Wilkinson's a good actor. Vince Vaughn has been doing this for years, and Dave Franco is a great comedy highlight in most movies I see, like Bad Neighbors.
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't, in all honesty, criticize the acting. You know, they did probably as well as they could do with what they were given. It was just terrible material. You know, I kind of felt sorry for them, because, you know, people like Nick Frost, he's, you know, generally a pretty good actor, generally fairly bankable in terms of getting a laugh out of you. But in this, you know, he was really, really struggling.
Oh, really?
I just felt sorry for him for being in it. Although I'm sure the bastard picked up a big paycheck, so I'm not that sorry for him.
Yeah, Nick, you bastard.
Yeah, bastard.
So what would you give it out of 10?
Well, yeah, Jesus, I can't go beyond a 3.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That's super fucking low.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give that one a skip. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers, Mike. I really had our back today.
I took one for the team this week.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It was actually a pretty bad week for movies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing really big or good out this week. Would have been a good week to release a movie.
Yes, indeed. I think that one about the Iran-Contra journalist with Jeremy Renner is getting pretty good,
really? Is it?
Reviews.
Oh, right.
What's the name of it again?
The journalism executor, the Iran, the Mr. the journalism, the interview, gun running fun lovers. What's it called?
Kill the Messenger.
Just
Kill the Messenger.
Oh,
Thank you.
Kill the Messenger. Yes, that movie. Yeah.
Or just kill that whole segment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
So Kill the Messenger. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up, whatever, last of our TV. Shaun, tell us about American Crime.
Sure. American Crime is an American anthology crime drama television series that premiered on March 5th on ABC. Created by John Ridley, starring Felicity Huffman and Timothy Hutton. consists of 11 episodes in the first season, and the series centers on race, class, and gender politics as it follows a racially charged murder and the subsequent trial.
Timothy Hutton is absolutely fantastic in it. Felicity Huffman is absolutely racist as be Jesus in it.
She's great at it, though.
She is. She's very, very convincing. And I didn't.
I think she is a racist, though. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that she drew on her well of racism. It was amazing.
Timothy Hutton, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant in this. When he receives the news, that scene, I was just like, oh my god, he's brilliant. Could you imagine doing that right? And go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many days would you have to build yourself up for that?
He and Felicity Huffman play a couple who are bereaved after they find out that one of their sons has been violently murdered, and that their daughter-in-law has been viciously attacked in the same occurrence, sexually assaulted, and is clinging to life in a hospital. There's some extreme shit from minute one in this.
Yeah, this isn't a happy TV program.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly.
This is real.
Yeah. It's fairly doom and gloom from the off, but nonetheless interesting.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of it, and what's interesting is it being an anthology means that if they make another season of this, completely different case, completely different place, could be anything, just like True Detective American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like what will hold it together throughout, because I do think this will last more than one season, is the way that they shoot this, the way that they edit it together. So for example, and this isn't spoiling anything, for that performance when the guy is being questioned by the police right after, hey, is this your dead child? We need you to say that it is, and then we're going to ask you questions. It's almost like a postmodern approach where he's not in that moment fully. So it keeps flicking through different, almost jump cuts of him, acting similarly bereaved, but as if he's minorly changed position, intercut with images from the wedding that he is remembering of his child.
Yeah.
And they do that throughout with a bunch of things because I think what they're trying to do is show us emotion more realistically than if you just were looking at a person. They're actually trying to show the interior of the characters by literally showing us the interiors of the characters' minds.
What do you think, Mike?
I did enjoy this as I watched it. I like the intensity of it, and I like the general negative picture of the world that it presents. All those things generally appeal to me. The problem I have with it is, after a few days, I'm kind of struggling to remember it, which would imply that it hadn't made that great an impact on my psyche.
Well, it's not unlike a lot of stuff that we've seen before.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I would expect something that strong to have made a bigger impact that would last, at least a week.
Yeah.
So that worries me, that fact. Or maybe it's just that I'm getting old and my memory isn't what it was.
That fact worries all of us, Mike.
Maybe this is the early onset of reviewer fatigue.
Maybe. I've just seen too many dreadful things portrayed on TV and too many sad people having their lives ripped apart for our pleasure.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. That's one way of looking at it.
What I thought was great was the way that they introduced characters. There's a character that has one scene in this, a drug dealer guy, and they used the same technique that I was talking about to show him, where the audio is of him talking about what a bad man he is, and you actually seeing him just in multiple ways, just giving a fuck you, I can do whatever I want look, various expressions of that. And he was in it for maybe a minute. But that fucking guy, I want to see him, because if we've seen horrible shit already, I actually think that there's more horrible shit to come and worse as well. I was immediately interested in his character, never mind the main characters and their relationships, right? A gambling addict dad who was trying to be a good guy, and no one's a good person in this because we're finding out too much. It's almost like anyone under a lens and you can see the shit that's bubbling underneath the surface, and there's a great familial relationship. And it has one of my favorite romances I've seen on TV so far this year. There's a couple, and actually their race is important to their relationship and the way that they're perceived by other characters. But so it's a black male and a white lady, both addicts, And multiple times they show you how completely tender they are with each other.
Yeah.
In beautiful ways. There's one shot where they obviously have no fucking possessions. So one guy is taking care of, the guy's taking care of the girl. She's like in the bath and he's pouring water over her hair out of a giant big gulp cup.
Yeah.
They don't have this. And they show that tenderness, and within maybe a minute of screen time or less, they're fucking screaming at each other because they need drugs now. Like they're literally, it seems like their love is pure and intense and amazing. It's actually the way that they film it and the way these people act, without ever having to really kiss each other, without ever having to actually like do any sexual things. I completely want them to be together forever.
Yeah.
But they need drugs. Like it's this horrible thing where no matter how happy they are at any moment, you're like, very soon they are going to be unhappy and will do horrible things to get drugs. And it's an unalterable fact. So it's not like character change we can root for. You know what I mean? It's not like they're going, no, these people are eventually going to grow out of it. That's their character arc. Fuck no. They are screwed and they're going to do bad things. They don't necessarily want to do them, but they're going to do it because they need drugs now. And that's 2 people we saw maybe 4 or 5 scenes of. And they've done that with maybe 5 characters, 6 characters. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. Although I'm worried about the way this will affect my day every time I watch it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can compartmentalize it, but it's called American crime for a reason, because all this shit is happening all over the country. Like race crimes, all that stuff, assaults, yada yada. I don't look at newspapers anymore. And I don't wanna. And this show might make me do that.
Yeah. It's pretty dark, all right. Yeah. Mark, how did it affect you?
I enjoyed it. It's really gripping. It's extremely, what's the best way of saying it? Do you know when we watch TV shows and the realities of law and order and racism are these ephemeral concepts that we refer to as things that we don't want to be looking at? Or, you know, when a lawyer says to his client, you don't really want to be answering any questions, or my client has nothing to say, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And in this, we see people that don't have the benefit of, you know, I guess, having any money in a lot of cases in this show, and just how hard the law can be on those people. No, granted, somebody or more than one person in this cast probably deserves that treatment. But it's also possible that a couple of them don't. And there's a couple of unlucky characters in this as well. And it's just really visceral. Like, you can't but be affected, because I think they do a great job of very clearly explaining everyone's motivations. And some people are well-intentioned and some people aren't. And at the same time, they're all as equally caught up in the aftermath of this crime, and it's going to change all of their lives irreparably. And it's just really interesting. So I thought it's very, very hard hitting though. Like, you wouldn't be watching this last thing before you go to bed, you know. And you certainly wouldn't put it on if you want to feel good. But if you're looking for some really well-written, well-acted TV show with great characters and a thoroughly convincing plot, then this might be that show.
So you're hooked?
No, I'm not watching anymore. I hate that kind of stuff. It's a great TV show. It is. And it pulled me in. But Christ, I would never put myself through that if I didn't have to. You know what they need? They need the Green Arrow or the Flash. He would sort all of that stuff out so fast. Literally in the case of the Flash. No, geez, this isn't my kind of stuff at all. What, did you think I'd become a different person? The only way it could have been less my thing was if it had subtitles. But it's good. But because I'm this objective, critical reviewer who's really, really great at what he does, I can see that something is good, even though it's not for me.
Very good, very good. So filler there, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a provisional thriller on the basis that I did enjoy it while I watched it. And now that you guys have talked about it again, I was thinking, oh yeah, I did like that bit. So yeah, I'll thriller it.
Yeah, I'll probably watch another one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not, a positive program by any means.
And life affirming.
So I think I'll grab one more, see how it goes. Yeah.
So that's
Thriller.
That's Thriller on parole from both of you guys.
Yeah.
With good behavior, it's going to stay out. Get a real job, tie it down, it'll remain at
Nicely put.
For me, this show is fucking amazing. I am going to have to wonder if I want to be confronted by real life in a TV show a little bit more. But it's fucking awesome. So Thriller for me. Well done to everyone involved.
Very good. Very good. Okay, next up we've got some previews and Coming to a Bicycle near you. So the first one, Daredevil. Shaun.
Daredevil. So, when last we watched a teaser for this upcoming, I believe, April 10th Netflix show, all we really saw was that there's this guy. There's a guy in the shadows. Whoa, what's he doing? And then we were like, well, he wants to help people. And that was it. Now we can see that there is a vigilante superhero running amok who also happens to be blind lawyer Matt Murdock. Spoilers. And it looks at the Kingpin. It shows us Vincent D'Onofrio. Like, it looks like this is going to be the grittiest thing Marvel have done. And I'm very excited to watch it happen. I want to see blood that looks black come from people's brains while they get beaten up. Yeah.
You know who could have sorted out the problems in that American crime TV show as well? Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of the Daredevil movie. Unlike most people, I think Colin Farrell is probably the best supervillain ever. And the fact that he gave Bullseye a Dublin accent by putting the fear in him, I thought was excellent. And I've watched that movie at least 10 times. And you know what? I'm going to rent it on Netflix and watch it again. Maybe even tonight.
Really?
So I hope this TV show does the Daredevil justice. I also was a fan of the Daredevil comics, so it's going to be difficult for me not to like this. I really liked the grit. I think it is time probably for something gritty like that to come out of the Marvel house. When you have so much source material to draw on, like you can't every show can't be like Agent Carter or Marvel Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, you need to step to different sides of the street to keep it all interesting. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know absolutely nothing about Daredevil, but I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's less superhero-y.
Mm-hmm.
Than, say, The Flash and whatever else we've seen recently. Well, the Arrow, the Arrow is a special case, I think, because he had 5 years of training on an island. I'm going to leave it there. Just park that, right? Mike, what Daredevil? Have you seen this? You've seen the teaser anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, it's another fucking superhero thing.
Do you know anything about Daredevil?
A little bit from reading comics when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm not a kid anymore, and I don't read comics anymore.
Well, all I'll say to you, Mike, is his costume in this isn't a fucking costume. He wears dark clothes.
Oh.
That's it. Like, he's wearing completely black clothing. Doesn't look like he's having much one-liners. He's beating the shit out of people.
So does
and moving on.
Maybe you should stick to your old man TV, Mike.
That's right. I'll go back watching silent movies.
No, just go back to watching something where people get badly hurt and there's no hope.
Or badly possessed.
That's a genre IMDb created for Mike. Films and TV containing no hope whatsoever.
The next one we looked at was Champs. Mark, tell us about that.
Yeah, Champs is a documentary about the sport of boxing. Features a lot of ex-world champions like Evander Holyfield and Iron Mike Tyson. And it seems to take a fairly in-depth look at the seedy underbelly and the abuses of boxers by promoters who make so much money off them.
This is going to be interesting.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because
it's it's something everyone kind of knows about, right?
Yeah.
We all kind of know, boxing promoters. Oh, they're shady.
Yeah,
Do you not see that guy in Rocky V? And the way he treated Tommy Gunn, who only fights in the ring. They're all terrible people, like.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have some facts and figures to put behind it.
Yeah.
And I think it's been reasonably well documented, the pillaging of Mike Tyson's talent by Don King. Though I'm sure Mike Tyson was a willing contributor to that. But,
was he 400 million in his pocket at one stage?
Well, 400 million in earnings. I don't know how much actually ended up in his pocket.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of filtering.
He had enough to have a mansion with a tiger wandering around outside the front, you know. When's this out, do we know? We don't know.
It's already been the Tribeca Festival, I think.
Oh, so has it? All right, okay. Yeah.
There is a chance that my incredible memory is telling me that March 13th video on demand, as well as limited release.
Fantastic, thank you.
I feel good about that. I think that's true.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that would make sense. They got to get it in before the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, because all things boxing are going to be super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Between now and then. Actually, they had the first news conference tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
How'd that go down?
I actually had to leave the news conference to come down here and do this podcast.
Oh, God.
Yeah, imagine my despair. But yeah, it's going to be a media frenzy coming up to that match.
Yeah.
So anything boxing related is going to be gold for the next couple of months.
Cool. The next one we saw was Hitman, Agent 47. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen this trailer, go and watch it. Mark, you're shaking your head. This is fantastic.
I don't doubt it. I just didn't get to see the trailer, Steve. I'm sorry.
It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this. It's like an action movie, as action movies should be. You know, leave the brain at the door kind of action movie. He's a hitman. He's super intelligent. He's super strong. He's been, I don't know, made. That's why he's called number 47. Yeah. But it's Rupert Friend, who we all know from Homeland and from Startup, and Zachary Quinto. Yeah. So this looks great.
Is there any little cameo for Marshall Raylan?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
I don't think so. What Mike you're referring to is that Timothy Olyphant starred in the first Hitman movie.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like that movie too, but I think what this one has decided to do is, instead of putting a girl with the unstoppable killing machine to show his, like, nicer side, they went, fuck that, that's stupid, have him kill shit all the time. I thought it was a good change. I thought it was a clever change.
Yeah, this looks really good. Shaun, are you up for this?
Oh my god, yeah, I will hit that man. Agent all of it. Other things to do with the film.
The last one we saw was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So this is a remake, obviously, of the original, and it looks quite James Bondy, but with a little bit more humor, it seems. Yeah, looks like fun.
It stars Henry Cavill as, I believe, the titular man from U.N.C.L.E. And then there is Ernie Hamner. Doesn't matter. He's got a tough to pronounce last name. That's his fault. Ernie Hamner, playing the Russian guy. Here's the thing, right? This is an idea from the 60s. This guy's not, he's like a white, English, British kind of look at Henry Cavill. This guy's Russian. He's in the KGB. They do stuff differently. Isn't it fun? Not really. It's a bit naff. It looks silly.
I can't wait.
Like, completely silly. I think what they're doing is going, hey, were you around in the 60s or 70s or, you know, any age? Do you have money now? Give it to us, please. Please give it to us. They're taking an old idea and they're just representing it with a modern budget. It probably makes a lot of financial sense, but it looks kind of soulless, heartless, not funny. And like the action in it won't be as good as in, I don't know, other things we've previewed even on this very episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I would say Hitman looks a lot better, all right.
Well, Shaun, if you just, you know, resaid that sentence, but about superheroes, we could finally have an understanding about rehashing, rebooting, same old shit over and over. Yeah, I like that.
This is a longer discussion than I think you want to have right now, Mike. We're getting ready to wrap it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to table all of my thesis research and defense. I'm just going to leave that to the side. I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to go, okay, I accept your opinion. I will receive your opinion. Opinion that it is.
That's a hole you're digging there, man.
But see, you know, the problem with all superhero movies is that they are all symbols of hope.
Yeah, that must be it.
Mike's not going to like a film where that's the whole idea.
By the way, rumored, IMDb tells us, that David Beckham is in this.
Oh, that sounds like
Brilliant.
I don't
can't
give a
wait.
shit.
Yeah.
Steve, the instrument has yet to be invented that could measure my disinterest.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say he's in there for the promos anyway. So,
If David Beckham could measure Mark's disinterest, he'd be more useful in that capacity than in this movie.
True story. Right.
Yeah. He should go get himself another kid. Or another wife that he apparently seems to love and they're having a great relationship. Or another tattoo. And he loves those tattoos. Bend it like Beckham. I'll bend him around a pole. Yeah. I'll fight him. Tell him I'll fight him. I'm bored with David Beckham. Can we done with this man from Uncle bullshit? This is longer than Mike's review of that movie he hated.
Yeah. Okay. So on that note, as Jeremy Clarkson would say, yeah, we'll leave it there. So catch you next week. Tweet us, email us, Facebook us. So from Mike, Mark, Stephen, Shaun. Oh, hang on. Shaun has got something to say that he forgot to tell us before he ranted.
If you're still making up your mind about Dig, you should look at our interviews from Comic-Con in our interviews section where we interview the cast and crew. They're lovely gentlemen and they think we're great. So definitely watch the interviews.
Good call. So stay classy.